Imagine if our culture shifted that complete story to that dying is actually the most beautiful thing that happens to us, because we go and then become one with the Supreme. The Atma meets the Paramatma, and the joining of that is the ultimate coming together. If it is to another woman, let's say you have the fear of losing your partner to another woman, or today cheating has become so rampant, literally because of social media, phone, WhatsApp, because your this new person is giving you compliments on things that your husband has never said to you, so you start to get attracted, you start to be weak in those moments, and then starts the affair. How can I come over the fear of losing my partner? And I don't know whether you're talking about losing your partner to life, which is death, or to cheating, because both the places you can lose your partner. So which one is it? I'll anyway answer both for you, okay? So how do you come over the fact of losing your partner? Let's first consider it as death. The problem with us human beings is that we want to control the 1 or 2, 3 things also which God has not given us control over. What are the things God has not given us control over? Where we are born, when we will die. These are the 2 things He's not given us any control over. When we try to control what is in God's control, we will always live in anxiety, we will always live in fear, we will always overthink things. My suggestion is start to build your personality where you start to trust your God so much, where your faith and surrender is so extreme that you start to believe in your heart कि भगवान मेरे साथ गलत कर ही नहीं सकता. तो जो भी होगा भगवान ठीक ही करेगा, और जैसे भी होगा मैं मैनेज कर लूंगी, बिकॉज मेरे साथ तो भगवान खराब कर ही नहीं सकता, क्योंकि आई एम द स्पेशल प्रोटेक्टेड चाइल्ड ऑफ गॉड. एंड व्हेन यू स्टार्ट टू स्पीक योर ट्रूथ एवरी डे, लाइक आई वाज सेइंग, व्हेन द एंट स्टार्ट्स टू स्पीक हर ट्रूथ, देयर इज अ सर्टेन अमाउंट ऑफ क्लीन एनर्जी दैट यू स्टार्ट टू गेन. द मोर ऑथेंटिकली यू लिव लाइफ, the more vibrationally higher you become as a person. The lesser secrets, the lesser rubbish you carry within you, the more clean and clear you are, the higher you vibrate, the lighter you are. The lighter you are, the closer to God you are, the more protected you automatically become. So then I would love for you to give up. See, most of the world has fear of death. True or not, the way we have created a relationship with death is so wrong, because we have started to believe that it's a bad thing to happen. Imagine if our culture shifted that complete story to that dying is actually the most beautiful thing that happens to us, because we go and then become one with the Supreme. The Atma meets the Paramatma, and the joining of that is the ultimate coming together. Why do we think that being on earth is actually the ultimate? Why don't we believe being in heaven is the ultimate? So then when we have a new story in our head saying that, you know what, death doesn't take away anyone, death only changes the form. First I knew them through I knew them through physically. Now I know them in energy. Most people who've lost a parent or lost someone close to them will tell you they can literally sometimes sense them sitting right next to them. Sometimes that song comes then and they can literally smell the food that they used to love. They can hear the song. Energetically they are speaking. The whispers of the universe is continuously speaking to them. And I believe that when you have someone sitting in heaven who's very close to you, you have a hotline with God. You don't even have to pray to God. You can literally pray to the person you love most, and He will communicate everything to God. So you have a double advantage. What am I trying to do here? I don't know what I'm speaking is even the truth or not. What I know is when you change the story around death, then you know what, it just becomes so much easier to operate, because there are some things as human beings with our intelligence we must say, you know what, Godji, whatever this is one decision you have decided to keep in your hands. I'm sure you know better than me why you've decided to do that. So I'm just going to leave it to you. I'm not going to try to control that one thing that you want control over. And you start to build that faith in God to that extreme level where you literally start to go, I am God's special child. You'll start to see a totally different way of being. Okay. This is if it is to Godji. If it is to another woman, let's say you have the fear of losing your partner to another woman, or today cheating has become so rampant, like, literally because of social media, phone, WhatsApp. Cheating is super easy. You go for one party, next day you get one compliment, tomorrow the conversation on WhatsApp starts. It becomes so nicely dopamine high you get because your this new person is giving you compliments on things that your husband has never said to you. So you start to get attracted, you start to be weak in those moments, and then starts the affair. The same opposite is also true with the man. So a lot of affairs are happening these days. Now, how do you deal with affairs? One of the things I like to say to myself is confidence is not that it will not happen. Confidence is that if it happens, I'll be able to handle it. So we have to build ourselves to become that person where we should be so valuable to our partner that firstly, he won't take a chance. And if he took a chance, we are fully capable of finding someone better than him. I always in my jokes say that, why Salman Khan never got married? Because he's waiting for me only. No, if ever Puneet does anything, मैं तो गई, मेरे लिए तो वो wait कर रहा है. Of course it's a joke, but it's also the confidence that, while I love you when you love me, the day you don't love me, I will find someone better. And I want you to start to build this faith in yourself कि अगर कभी मेरे साथ ऐसा कुछ हुआ जो नहीं होना चाहिए था, I have no problem with people giving people a chance. If you want to, sometimes you have an affair, one person has an affair in the relationship, it actually brings you together and closer much more. You had started to live parallel lives and the affair told you that, you're not nurturing this relationship enough. So the person comes back and you both together then rebuild the journey, and wow, you needed that affair to give you that shake to say that, no, we value each other, we actually love each other. We had just started to become very, stable or bored or whatever you want to call the word, right? So sometimes the affair can bring you together. Sometimes the affair can actually tell you that this person was never worth it. And now after doing this, I can't trust him because I feel completely betrayed. No matter what I do, I can't trust him. I need to move on. Then you take 1 or 2 years to move on. Sometimes you are not ready at that moment because you're in so much shock. But in a couple of years, you realize, this relationship was never working. I thought, or I kept sitting in that mirage that it is working, and then you move on from there to either find someone better, or if you feel complete by yourself, then go on a journey of being single for a while, of self-discovery, which also is very beautiful. So when we start to understand that we can't hold on to anybody that tight, whether it is in death or in affair, and we have to give them that chance or that ability that, the day you start to in your heart know that you will be fine no matter what, and you start to build you. Don't focus on that person, focus on who you are and who you are becoming. But if your insecurities are financial, start to build yourself financially. If your insecurities are emotional, start to build a village around you that will support you and love you if you're ever left alone. If you're feeling insecure in whichever method, look at where your insecurity lives. It is a signal and feedback to you that, instead of remaining weak in that energy, let's work on making you super strong. In the first couple of years in my marriage, whenever Puneet and I would have a fight, I would say, "Main ja rahi hu." And he used to be like, "No, please, sweetheart, don't ever leave me." And I used to love the attention. Ek bari I was fighting and he said, "Better tu jao." उसके बाद आज तक मैंने कभी वो सेंटेंस नहीं बोला. You know why? Because it was just my power over him that I was using. A lot of times when we start to become weak in the relationship, the other person starts to take us for granted. Today Puneet says, अगर तू सच्ची में अगर आज बोलेगी ना मैं जा रही हूँ तो तू सच्ची में चली जाएगी. उस वक्त तो वो empty threats थे, खाली वाली धमकी. So I want you to build yourself to that level where the man values you and won't do anything because he knows that if he actually does something, you will actually leave. And that's the position. So when you come together out of choice and not because you signed a marriage paper, I think those relationships are the good relationships of the world. Agree or no?